Hi everybody and welcome back to the Going For It Sim Studio. Today we venture into episode 2 of a 3-part series on your journey into golf instruction. In the first video we spoke about how to find the right coach for you. In today's episode we're going to talk about your very first lesson, what you can expect, how you can prepare, and just how to be the right student so that you can get the most out of your investment. Let's go. All right, so you've done the hard work. You've researched, you've interviewed, and you finally have chosen a coach and you've signed up for a lesson package and your first lesson is coming up. The anticipation is high, but what can you do to make sure that you get the most out of this investment? Well, we're gonna start off by talking about how you can prepare for your first lesson. Then we're gonna discuss what you can do during that lesson to be the best student you can be and get it the most advantage you can out of the education being given to you from your coach. And then what you can do after the first lesson so that you continue the journey off on the right foot. So for preparation, what can you do? Do you do anything? Do you just show up to that lesson completely blind, or should you prepare a little bit? Well, I think there should be a little bit of preparation just to kind of help you jump the gun a little bit. I've done a first lesson completely blind as a new golfer, and so I understand what you're going to get hit with right away. A good coach is going to ask you, where do you want to go with your golf game? That's a question you should absolutely think about. Where do you want to go? Are you just trying to get your swing to a point where you can play around a golf and have a good time and not have to worry about the technical aspects to shoot as low of a score as you possibly can? Or are you after that low score? Your coach is going to want to know that. And if you've already pre-thought where you want your game to go, you're going to be able to have a good discussion with your coach on day one that is going to set the foundation for your entire lessons package that you're probably paying a significant amount of money for. It also helps you and the coach have a good relationship that doesn't have a bunch of confusion because you expected one thing and the coach just kind of assumed that they wanted to take your game this place. The other question that you want to make sure that you can answer is, where are your current strengths and weaknesses? What's your understanding of the golf swing? If that's something you want, do you really want a super highly technical understanding of the golf swing? Or do you just want to make sure that you're doing the right thing to get yourself through the swing? It's okay to not have to understand the golf swing like a golf instructor. That's absolutely not an issue, but that's a good communication point that you want to have with your coach. It's also really good to explain to your coach what kind of learner you are. Are you a visual learner, or are you a learn by doing? Is it easier for you to learn by watching your instructor show you how something is done, or do you want to physically be moved into that position so that you can get the feel while you're there? If you can just tackle those few items as you go into before you go into your lesson, you're going to be off to a really good start. Now, as you go to your lesson, the time has come and you're walking in the door. Bring your full set of clubs. Every instructor is going to want you to start with a different club, so you just want to make sure that you're prepared. As a beginner, it's also really nice to have a golf professional look at your setup to make sure that you have everything you have. You never know. It's a really safe place to ask questions, which leads to the very first thing that you can do as a student that's going to get you the most benefit out of that lesson. Do not be afraid to ask questions. If you don't feel like you have what you're working on down, ask a question. Have that coach repeat what you're doing. You don't want to pretend to know what's going on, because all that's going to do is kind of cause a lot of confusion as you continue down the path, or you'll move too quickly. And then all you're really doing is kind of wasting that money because you're not consuming what you're being taught. I also want you to completely forget everything that's ever been told to you about golf. You need to trust the coach you're working with so that that process can be trusted. If they begin working to you with your grip and somebody in the past has said, oh, you really want a super weak grip for this reason or another, let's ignore that. Don't worry about anything that you've read in a magazine or heard on YouTube. Full attention on your instructor and what they're teaching you that is where you're going to move forward. That's going to be your new grip. That's going to be your new process. A good coach will also record the session. This can pose a few problems. Some people don't like to see themselves on video. I understand that, and what I really want you to understand is how important video is with the golf swing. It's going to take a few times for you to watch these videos, seeing that it's yourself on camera, being able to take a deep breath and go, okay, it's okay. We're here to get better. Some folks will never be comfortable seeing themselves on camera, and that's quite all right. However, because golf is such a feel-based activity, it's important to be able to see things on video. Personally, I have done things in a golf swing where I felt like I had it exactly where I needed to be. And it takes a coach to show you, be like, hey, look at this. And you can kind of see that, wow, that feel you had was actually pretty inaccurate. And so what you get out of the video through the lesson is you're going to get a really good before and after. Hey, here's where you were, and here's what we worked on today. This is where you were when we left. What that also does is it proves to you that you can get in that position. Now, your coach is going to be able to see you swing, see how your body works, and be able to adjust the lessons and what your swing should look like for your body. So if you have any past injuries or health concerns that your coach needs to be aware of, please, please, please make sure you discuss that with them. Do not leave that stuff out. If you have a bad back, shoulder, elbow, wrist, whatever it is, or you've had injuries in the past that can hinder the way you move, if you don't discuss that with your coach, they're going to put you in positions that your body can't handle, and that's probably going to be the absolute worst thing that you can do for the longevity of playing this game, that you're going to put money into yourself so that you can play for a very long time. So when the lesson is over, your coach will provide you more than likely with a few drills, and you're going to get that video that got taken that day, hopefully into an app where you can go home and you can practice it. Now, nobody's holding you accountable to go home and practice, whether it's at home in a simulator, which is my recommended way, going to a course and practicing on the range, or doing drills that don't require hitting balls at all. The one piece of advice that's going to set you up for your journey of lessons is please do the practice. What you absolutely don't want to do is show up to lesson number 2 not having touched the homework for lesson number 1. Keep this in mind. You're investing a lot of money in yourself, and some people may think, well, it's my money, I can do what I want. You're absolutely right, and nobody can argue that. However, you're taking time from somebody who enjoys and does professional work to teach you what they know. So what you can do to be the best student you can be, not only for yourself, but for your coach, is to practice what they've given you. And when you put that stuff into practice, it makes it so that when you show up to lesson number 2, you can progress and you can continue becoming that golfer that you want to be. A lot of the things that you may get may seem very small, especially at the beginning, but that's honestly the best thing you can possibly do. If a coach throws 800 things at you and completely changes things, you might want to second guess working with them because it's simply just not going to work. So now you are well on your way to being able to get the absolute most out of those lessons. You know how to prepare for your first lesson. You know how to interact through your first lesson and what to do after. Now is when it gets really exciting because you build that relationship with your coach. You guys become one and you're able to do anything you want to do. And I promise it's going to be the best investment you can put in your golf game. So enjoy that first lesson, take it in, ask those questions, and put in the work so that when you continue down that path, you're continuously progressing your sessions. Get after it.